What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a game day update presented by Valley Sports Southeast. I'm Kelcey. That's Mike. Mike, tonight the Grizzlies will take on the Golden State Warriors. There's some ins, there's some outs. Questionable is Steven Adams. Dillon Brooks obviously still out, but I'm going to run down some storylines for you, and you're going to tell me what you're most excited about, okay? So the Grizzlies, 9 straight wins, going obviously for 10. Consecutive Western Conference Players of the Year is Ja Morant. This is Klay Thompson's second game back from a long time of injured. He had 17 points against the Cavs in his first game back. Now, keep in mind, he's been injured so long. Ja Morant was not even in the league when he got injured. This is the number 1 and number 2 teams in the power ranking in the NBA. Steph Curry is the best shooter in the NBA. Ja Morant is the best driver, scorer in the paint in the NBA. We got a lot to cover tonight. I think it's going to be an extremely exciting game. I'm hoping to see a lot of Grizzlies jerseys in the stands and not Golden State jerseys in the stands. Mike, what are you most looking forward to about?
As you were going through the list right there, Kelcey, and what a phenomenal list. Some of those storylines I obviously knew about, but the one that hit me and kind of got me stuck was, man, Klay Thompson was injured out longer than Ja has been in the league. And I was at the game when he got hurt. I remember the game against Toronto when he got hurt. And yeah, I was in Toronto for that game. And it was so to think that Ja came into the league, a month or so right after that, in terms of when he was drafted, that's phenomenal. But anyway, when you add all of those factors in, there's a reason why all the entire league is going to be watching this game tonight. Those teams that aren't playing, obviously, everyone in the league is going to have their eyes on Memphis for all of those reasons that you named. I just want to see if the Grizzlies, I want them to push this to 10 wins in a row against a team that they right now would line up with in a potential second round playoff matchup. They don't fear Golden State. They've already beaten Golden State, a different version of Golden State, in the play-in last year. They've already gone to Golden State and had some success. So it's one of those situations where this team does not bother the Grizzlies mentally, and I'm looking forward to seeing them step up tonight in a major marquee showcase game. What about you?
I think the cool thing is that no team bothers the Grizzlies mentally, and the guys have said it. Kyle Anderson said it after last game that they're not scared of other teams. Like, they feel like teams come in and punk them or like think they will. And he's like, it's not happening. Ja Morant has said, look, we all put our shoes on one shoe at a time. He's not scared of anyone. So I think it's interesting to come into this game knowing that the mentality of the young guys on the Grizzlies could be, if not even more hardcore than that of, the big names like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Draymond Green is out. For anyone who is, I didn't go into there. So Draymond Green is out. James Wiseman is out. Gary Payton and Otto Porter Jr. both questionable. So with Draymond out and Klay Thompson still kind of working his way back in. Yes, he had 17 points, but he also shot 100 shots. Mike Wallace, their number 2 is most likely Andrew Wiggins, right? So if their number 2 scoring wise is Andrew Wiggins, the Grizzlies need a big game from Jaren or Dez or both. How do you see that working in terms of Ja versus Curry, which is kind of like everyone's going to be watching? What's that secondary matchup?
That secondary matchup, I think you identified it right there. I think you also, Wiggins is going to be a volume guy when it comes to how much. Otto Porter Jr. is more of a relief option for them offensively, but he certainly can play well and get streaky. Jordan Poole is another guy you got to watch out for, because this is one of the most improved players in the league. So they have multiple guys that can get out there and get things done. And don't mistake what Kevon Looney can do for them in terms of, he's like a Steven Adams. They don't run much for him at all, but he's always in the right place at the right time. So it's going to be a lot more falling on Kevon Looney, and also Steph Curry to be more of a facilitator now. So with Draymond Green being, out, they don't have their key facilitator, a guy that's going to rotate the ball to the weak side and those kind of things. So that's going to fall on Steph and some other guys. That's going to be key. Who do the Grizzlies have as the third guy? Because I think the top 2 scorers are going to match up no matter how it slices up. Who's going to be that third guy for the Grizzlies, whether it's Desmond Bane, whether this needs to be a Tyus Jones game, potentially as a backup. So I'm looking for those kind of, the Jordan Poole, Tyus Jones, option is going to be one that's, I think, is going to be instrumental in this game.
All right. And I mentioned it really quick, Mike, how obviously the Grizzlies are leading in points in the paint, second chance points, fast break points. They love to score in the key. The Warriors, the exact opposite. Obviously, they've got Steph Curry, and now they've got both Splash Brothers back. How do you see that playing out in terms of the Grizzlies doing so well on the offensive boards, on the second chance points, on the fast breaks, but not necessarily on the 3-point line. Not that they're shooting bad from the three, but no one really compares to how the Warriors shoot when they've got Steph Curry. How do you compare? How do you keep up when they're shooting threes and you're shooting twos?
Well, they're going to shoot threes based on volume, not necessarily success. I mean, even though they got the best shooter and the best two shooters we have in this league in the backcourt, they're going to get those threes up no matter what. But don't mistake them as a team that's going to only settle for that. They don't mind pump faking at the 3-point line, dribbling in and taking the mid-range. Steph Curry is great at the floater game. Klay Thompson is a catch and shoot maestro. He doesn't have to move much to get his shots off. So what the Grizzlies have to do is limit those long rebounding opportunities. You know, put them in a position where, you know, the ball is bouncing long and it becomes a 50-50 loose ball. The Grizzlies have to limit Golden State to one shot. Don't let them get the reset threes that Steph Curry is known for doing. And on the Grizzlies side, offensively, pound the paint. Kevon Looney is their only lone big for the most part. You know, and Jaren has played remarkable the last couple of games. I mean, 23 and 10 and 5. I need that Jaren. I need that. Give me all of that Jaren. If we get that Jaren for the rest of the season, then man, the sky's the limit for the Grizzlies. And when you look at this team matching up playoff wise, what's the team right now that you look at in the playoffs and say, man, I don't feel like the Grizzlies can get, get a game here and there and make it a series? No one.
The Grizzlies have beat every Western Conference team at this point.
So. Every single one. And they just have to stay healthy and keep that teamwork mentality, and hopefully that can come out. What do you see as the key matchup in terms of what they need to do execution-wise?
I think it's going to come down to running this team off of the 3-point line and then also protecting their transition defense. This Warriors team doesn't necessarily get a lot of fast break points, but you don't want to allow them to make threes, take threes, and then also get, 10 to 15 fast break points. You want to limit that. Transition defense needs to be big, and then talking on rotations needs to be huge, because if we're running out and getting them off the line, that means they're driving past their first defender. That secondary defender needs to be there. And Tyus Jones talked after the last home game about how this team is on a string right now and they feel it. They need to feel that string here tonight on the defensive end.
That string is important. And both of these teams play defense on a string, because Golden State is top 5 across the board in a lot of defensive categories as well as being a remarkable team. They also lead the league in points allowed right at 100. So they don't give up a lot. As much as they get, the glitz and glamour for what they do offensively, they are a solidly structured defensive team too. So the Grizzlies won't be able to take anything for granted. I am so looking forward to this game. It kicks off a 4-game homestand. It's just going to be great, man. And I'm looking forward to it. And we also got a new presenting sponsor too, Kelcey, right? I mean, it's one of those things where Bally Sports Southeast is presenting the game day updates. And so, obviously you could check out the action when it comes to that, but I know you got that all covered. But I'm amped. You see, I'm already dressed. I'm dressed for the game, and we still got 7 hours before it tips off.
I love the energy. The game tips off at 7:00 tonight here at FedEx Forum. If you want to come grab your tickets, you can go online at grizzlies.com or call 1-888-HOOP. Get ready. Keep that energy, Mike. I love that you're set. Do not lose any of your spark, because we are still a few hours away from tip. Guys, if you want to watch on the TV, obviously you can watch on Bally Sports Southeast. You have watched another Grizz Game Day update presented by Bally Sports Southeast, and we'll see you guys hopefully at the game.